Hola a todos y bienvenidos. Welcome back to Real Fast Spanish. So if you want to say worry about or complain about or think about or dream about in Spanish, then in all of these scenarios, you should avoid the Spanish word sobre. Now, this is one of the most common errors I hear as a Spanish teacher, and it makes sense because if you look up in a dictionary, the word about in Spanish, you'll find sobre. But the word sobre and the English translation about are prepositions, and prepositions are typically the hardest words to translate. And this goes for many languages, French to Russian, Italian to Japanese, English to Spanish. When we look to translate prepositions, we'll often have a hard time. Now, one of the most well-known preposition challenges for Spanish students is por versus para, but many other prepositions can be just as challenging to translate as well. So in this video, we're going to look at where you can use sobre in Spanish and where you should avoid it. Now, one of the places where you can confidently use sobre is after nouns. For example, I have a question about, tengo una pregunta sobre. I have information about, tengo información sobre. I have an opinion about, tengo una opinión sobre. So let's turn these into full examples now. I have a question about the upcoming trip. Tengo una pregunta sobre el próximo viaje. Tengo una pregunta sobre el próximo viaje. I have information about the job that you need to know. Tengo información sobre el trabajo que necesitas saber. Tengo información sobre el trabajo que necesitas saber. I have an opinion about the football match. Tengo una opinión sobre el partido de fútbol. Tengo una opinión sobre el partido de fútbol. Pero ten cuidado con estas opiniones, son muy peligrosos, ¿eh? Be careful with your opinions on football matches because people can get very passionate. All right, so as you can see, when you want to say that you have a question about or information about something where the something is a noun, sobre works really well. In contrast, when the word about follows a verb, in the vast majority of cases, it will be a word other than sobre in Spanish. So let's look at a few examples. If you want to say, I'm thinking about something or I need to think about something, the best preposition to use in Spanish in this situation would be en. Pensar en means to think about. So try to remember that in English, we think about. In Spanish, we think in. For example, if someone asks you a question, you could respond, I need to think about that. Necesito pensar en eso. Necesito pensar en eso. Now, I remember my wife and I were watching a movie several years ago in Spanish where one of the characters was about to do something silly, like go off and chase the bad guys by themselves. And the other character said to him, think about your family. Think about your family. Piensa en tu familia. Piensa en tu familia. Right? And of course, the mistake that I often hear from students when I'm testing them will be say, how do you say think about in Spanish? And this word sobre will often appear because they're directly translating from English. So try to keep this in mind. Pensar en, this is the most natural way to express this idea in Spanish. Now, the next example, which is a really fun one I love to share with students, is dream about. Now, for me, this one's fun because it shows the different ways to express ideas in different languages. I think this is sometimes the beauty of language learning. So in English, we dream about. In Spanish, we soñar con. Soñar con. So we literally dream with something in Spanish. Even if that thing is an object or an idea that can't dream itself, it's still something that you do together using the preposition con. For example, last night I dreamt about my trip. Anoche soñé con mi viaje. Anoche soñé con mi viaje. As a child, she dreamed of being an astronaut. De pequeña soñaba con ser astronauta. De pequeña soñaba con ser astronauta. And note, this is a really useful example, soñar con ser. So we can also put a verb straight after con, so you can dream of being something or doing something or going somewhere with soñar con ir, soñar con visitar, soñar con practicar español. I dreamt about practicing Spanish. Next, we have talk about. And the best option here would be hablar de. Hablar de. So for talk about in Spanish, you can think of talk of or speak of literally. Now, of all the options I'm presenting in this video, hablar is the most likely verb to appear with sobre. So it wouldn't be an error to use sobre with hablar, but I'll come back to this. Now, if someone asks you a question about a topic that you don't want to talk about, You can say something like, I don't want to talk about that now. No quiero hablar de eso ahora. No quiero hablar de eso ahora. We have to talk about what happened. Tenemos que hablar de lo que pasó. Tenemos que hablar de lo que pasó. Literally, we have to talk of what happened or we have to talk of what passed. Now, I know some students like to think of lo que as that which. I don't recommend that. It's worth thinking about lo que as a two-word phrase that means what or whatever in English. Now, if you're curious about that, check out my video on lo que. I'll leave a link in the description. Next, we have to worry about. Now, in Spanish, the best verb here is preocuparse. This is the reflexive form here, and we would use it with the preposition por. So preocuparse por means to worry about, literally to concern yourself by something. For example, I always worry about your health. Siempre me preocupo por tu salud. Siempre me preocupo por tu salud. You shouldn't worry so much what other people think. No deberías preocuparte tanto por lo que piensan los demás. No deberías preocuparte tanto por lo que piensan los demás. So literally this would be something like, you should not worry yourself so much by what the others think or what think the others. Next we have to complain about. The best translation into Spanish would be quejarse de. This might literally be to complain oneself of something. So I complain about everything when I'm tired. Me quejo de todo cuando estoy cansado. Me quejo de todo cuando estoy cansado. He always complains about work. Siempre se queja del trabajo. Siempre se queja del trabajo. Now note that we have the de, se queja de, followed by el trabajo. When this happens, we have the de and the el coming together, del. So se queja del trabajo. Now another really useful example might be, what are you complaining about? What are you complaining about? This structure can be really tricky for students. So maybe try to pause the video and have a go at this one yourself before I show the translation. ¿De qué te quejas? ¿De qué te quejas? Now this one's a little bit of a tongue twister for me, right? It's like, ¿de qué te quejas? ¿De qué te quejas? ¿De qué te quejas? Now the really important thing to notice with this example is the position of the de. So we have you complain about in Spanish, which would be te quejas de. So you complain about something. But when you ask a question, we would need to say literally, of what do you complain? So that preposition in Spanish, we can never finish a question with a preposition. It happens all the time in English. We need to put them at the start of our questions or sometimes in the middle. So if you want to think about this literally, it would be, of what do you complain about yourself? Right? And this goes for any of the other examples we're looking at today. For example, what do you dream about? If you just want to ask someone what they dream about, pause the video here, have a go. How would you ask this question in Spanish? ¿Con qué sueñas? ¿Con qué sueñas? Where again, that con is going with sueñas. You dream about, sueñas con. But we ask the question, about what do you dream, or literally, with what do you dream? Okay, now something I mentioned earlier in the video is that it is possible to hear examples where someone will say hablar sobre. So we can kind of stack up all of the options that we looked at today like this. We have the main ones, hablar de, pensar en, quejarse de, preocuparse por, and soñar con. Right? Then what we can do is we can investigate whether the thing that I'm recommending that you avoid translating about literally from English to sobre, whether this exists in Spanish or even whether it's possible. So our 5 options would be hablar sobre, pensar sobre, quejarse sobre, preocuparse sobre, and soñar sobre. Now, essentially, the point of this video is that, again, I'm recommending all of the options on the left and to avoid all of the options on the right. But the question is, will you find these options on the right sometimes? And the answer is yes, it is possible to find all of these options, maybe in a book, maybe you'll just hear someone say it somewhere in passing. Now, part of the reason I'm doing this at this stage of the video is that I've been teaching Spanish online for 13 years. And almost always, whenever I say avoid this thing, then a student will inevitably find an example somewhere. A student will say, find an example in a book and say, hey, I thought you said, Andrew, you can't say this, but here's an example of someone saying it. So that's why it's prudent for me to at least take a moment to look at the counterfactual. Now, as I've done in previous videos, I'm going to dive into the corpus data to look at the frequency of these things and see whether we can find some examples, again, of soñar, sobre, quejarse sobre, etc. And when I do this, it turns out that there is at least one hit in the corpus data for all of these options. But the ratios of how these things occur are important. Also, the cool thing about the corpus data is we can actually go and look at the original document where the example came from. So if I put in the phrase soñar con versus soñar sobre, then we have about 3.1 hits for the phrase soñar con for every million words in the corpus data, and we have 0.01 hits for soñar sobre. Now, there were in fact a total of 8 hits of soñar sobre in the corpus data. I thought, well, let's go and have a look at the example and see where it occurs in natural Spanish somewhere. So one of the hits comes from this book, Tiempo de Ángel by Géser González Picado, and the sentence from this novel is, Te mueves un poco como para dormir o soñar sobre el otro costado. So translating this to English, it would be you move a little as if you sleep or dream on the other side. So costado is kind of like the side of the body. So in this case, it isn't dreaming about something, it's dreaming while you are on your side, where sobre means something is on something. And we can say this in Spanish, we can say on the table, sobre la mesa. So some of these hits that we may find in Spanish in the real world may not actually be the combinations that we're investigating today. Regardless, when we look at the number of hits in the data we have, hablar de to hablar sobre occurs in a ratio of about 12 to 1. Pensar en to pensar sobre occurs in a ratio of about 52 to 1. For quejarse de and quejarse sobre, this occurs in a ratio of about 54 to 1. Preocuparse por and preocuparse sobre occurs in a ratio of about 104 to 1. And then we have soñar con to soñar sobre occurring in a ratio of about 314 to 1. Now, as I mentioned, when we look closely at soñar sobre, we realize that it isn't dreaming about, but dreaming on someone's physical side. So that hit at 300 to 1 may not represent what we're actually trying to investigate today. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the one that's really worth looking at is hablar sobre. This is a real use that you are going to find a fair bit. You'll still hear it in a ratio of 12 to 1. So most of the time, hablar de would be the preferred option in natural daily conversational Spanish. But there will be legitimate examples of hablar sobre. So when will we use this? So we use hablar sobre when we talk about a specific topic that you are deliberately addressing, like a subject, a theme, the focus of a talk or a lesson in Spanish. And to go really meta here, we could say something like, today we're going to talk about the preposition sobre. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre la preposición sobre. Or today we're going to talk about when you shouldn't use sobre. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre cuándo no debes usar sobre. Now, some of you might be thinking, is it still okay to ask, hoy vamos a hablar de cuándo no debes usar sobre? And the answer is absolutely yes. I even think that this second option would be better. It would sound cleaner because we would avoid doubling the word sobre in the same sentence. So to summarize, in general, avoid using sobre with verbs. Most of the time it doesn't work. Hablar de, pensar en, quejarse de, preocuparse por, soñar con. The English word about will translate to one of de, en, por, or con, depending on the verb. Now, I recommend that students get in the habit, whenever you learn a new verb, pair it with a preposition like this in your mind. I talked about a similar technique in the video that I released last week on learning Spanish nouns. You almost always want to learn a noun in combination with the article. And I explain a little bit more about that technique in that video, but if you can just get in the habit of saying soñar con, pensar en, and thinking about them as a phrase, it will make the process of learning prepositions easier. Now, as is always the case with all of my videos, go out and make some of your own sentences using these verbs and prepositions. Practice using them and then let me know if you have any questions below. So if you are a Spanish student and you're not improving as fast as you'd like, I want to give you a free gift. We've put together a guide for developing conversational Spanish quickly and effectively. The guide is broken up into the 7 key areas where students often get stuck: mindset, memory, pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, listening skills, and speaking skills. Almost every student gets stuck in one of these areas, often more than one. And no matter what you are struggling with, you can move past it. The key is knowing what to focus on. You can go to realfastspanish.com/guide and just put in your email address and we'll send you the guide for free. If you are trying to take your Spanish to the next level and you would like more help from us, then you can reach out to me or one of the members of the Real Fast Spanish team, and we'll figure out where you're at right now and what you can do to take your Spanish to the next level.